Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday night fire, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach wa Malaki Bashai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach wa Malaki Bashai and laboring in the gospel. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive and diligent, and those who may not be married are those who tend upon the Lord without distraction. Shalom to the ancient men, the children, and the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, and everybody tuning in live, Don Israel, Yazian David, Yehuda Israel, Nigel Blend, Verdon Brody, Princess Nikia Kazak, Yashab Rael. We got Next Israel, Quadan, Brother Believe, Brother Yamir, and everybody else tuning in. And again, that will tune in, Lord willing, right? Most High willing, everybody's having a mighty feast of tabernacles. Most High willing, everybody's standing in spirit. Most High willing, everybody's aware of, again, the physical component of it and dwelling in these booths and being mindful of how the Most High brought us out of Egypt with a stretched out hand and a mighty arm. And our forefathers, they dwelt in the wilderness, for 40 years, man, due to their rebellion and wickedness and due to their hard neck and stiff heartedness, man. And Most High willing, the Most High transitions us from this stony heart to a heart of flesh, man. The Most High willing, our people that are keeping these feast days are, doing their due diligence not to be moving in the same example as our wicked forefathers, man. You had two men that came out of Egypt, man. Men that saw the plagues, men that saw the demise of at one time the greatest empire, Joshua and Caleb. And those are the only two men that came out of Egypt that made it to the promised land. Everybody else wandered in the wilderness and died, man. So we want to be mindful of these spirits, man. Like the Lord said in let's get this real quick. In First Corinthians, the Lord said, now these things are written as an admonition, right? And as an example. Let's go to First Corinthians. I want to make sure the screen is showing. Right? Let's go to First Corinthians, the 10th chapter. This is First Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 6. I'll start at 5. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Right? You read about men getting plagued by fiery serpents. In Numbers, the 16th chapter, you had the earth opened up on people, man. Korah, Dathan, Abiram, On, all these wicked men. So the Most High overthrew our forefathers in the wilderness, man. And again, in the wilderness, we dwelt in booths. We dwelt in tents. We dwelt in what you call tabernacles. So you don't want to be negligent of the wicked behavior of our forefathers and just keep this day or these feast days in your simplicity, just drunken and lust and mirth. You want to be mindful of what's pleasing to the Most High and see what's not pleasing to the Most High. And see how our forefathers, they dwelt in booths. They dwelt in tents, but they were overthrown in the wilderness. 1 Corinthians 10 and 6. Now these things were our examples to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. So our forefathers lusted when they dwelt in their booths. They lusted after the life of old, the times and the food and the luxuries, for lack of better terms, that they had in Egypt. They set it up. Let's go to Numbers real quick, right? Let's go to Numbers, the 11th chapter, right? We should not lust after evil things. While you're keeping this feast day and you're dwelling in your booth, be mindful, right? This is Numbers chapter 11 and verse 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? So when you look at how we were stationed in the wilderness, we weren't just stacked up on top of each other. A lot of people, even in the world, they don't understand the battle formations that we were in when we came out of Egypt. And when we dwelt in the wilderness, we were in a very high level tactical military formation set up by a man of war, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. So when we set our booths up, you had a heathen that came out of Egypt, right? When you read the book of Exodus, right? Egyptians and other heathen, the mixed multitude that came out. And you have certain Israelites who set their booths up next to the mixed multitude. So if you pitch your tent nigh into the heathen, the spirit on the heathen is going to hop on you. If you are the tabernacle, which we've covered, which I'm not going to do an in-depth breakdown on, we've been covering this all week, how we're the tabernacle. If we're the tabernacle and you pitch your tent towards the mixed multitude in these nations, the spirit of lust and the spirit of the world, it will befall you. You have to be mindful, again, of what you associate yourself with and who you associate yourself with, lest the evil spirits on them during this feast week and even after, those spirits hop on you. Because our forefathers said, well, damn, they're lusting. Damn, we're lusting too. Right? Verse 5. We were, and the Most High gave them bread to eat, man. The Most High gave them manna from heaven. And on the spiritual level, the manna represents what? Yahweh Shai, the bread. He is the true bread that came down from heaven. So this is beyond not wanting manna. A lot of people say, well, they didn't just want the manna. No, they didn't want Yahweh Shai. They were offended at Yahweh Shai because he's the true manna. He's the heavenly manna. They were offended at the word of the Most High. And they wanted other meats, doctrines, philosophies, even on the spiritual level. You know, that's why they had 2 golden calves in their hearts. And they built these things because they had that spirit in them when they came out of Egypt. Verse 5, we remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. So all we have is the word. Now they were really talking about literal manna, which the Most High had come down from heaven. But on a spiritual level, the bread is the heavenly bread, which is Yahweh Shai. So you dwelling in your booth during this Feast of Tabernacles, don't let your soul dry away and don't lust after the things our forefathers lusted after. This is not the time to be going off of lust. This is not the time to have a wandering eye. This is not the time to be desiring another man's wife, nor is it any other time to desire that. Fornication and lewd things and madness, idolatry. Right? So let's go back to this. It reads 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 7. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to plate. Right, that's the book of Exodus, the 32nd chapter. The 33rd chapter. You read these chapters, how they set up 2 golden calves, man. And he started serving other gods. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 23,000. And it could be 23 people fall out the truth. It could be 23,000 people fall out the truth. Rather it's literal fornication or you commit spiritual fornication. There is a thing called spiritual fornication, right? Let's get that in the Wisdom of Solomon, right? The Lord said, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. So spiritual fornication is when you, being a bride, being married to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, when you now seek and commit idolatry with idols and groves and altars of the other nations. So we did that. We set up 2 golden calves and said, behold, these be thy gods, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. All right. Verse 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 9. Neither let us tempt Hamashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Because on a spiritual level, Yahweh Shai was there with us in the wilderness, not just as the word of the Most High, right? Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. Now all these things happen unto them for ensamples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Because we're living in the end of the world. And all of the death and the trauma and the judgments that befell our forefathers, the Most High brought them out of Egypt and killed them so you can learn what not to do. I mean, it's as simple as that. They were brought out, went off, and died so you in this generation can look at that, analyze it, and say, you know what? I know what not to do. I know what brings death, you know? So be mindful again for the seventh time, dwelling in your booth, and the pattern of behavior our forefathers had in Egypt. Don't follow that. Follow the righteous examples that the Most High set up. And the Lord said in Song of Solomon, right? The Lord said about another right-hand example. This First Corinthians, Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and 7. Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? Now, this is a parable. This is not literal. This is Solomon. Really, Song of Solomon is about the dynamics of a man when he comes into this truth. His shortcomings, his achievements, him falling away, him looking for the truth. It's also on one level a man's relationship with wisdom. A lot of people think Solomon was writing this to the woman, Queen of Bathsheba. No, right? This is a parable, and there's a question being asked by a man of the Lord. And this is a question that we've always asked deep within our spirit. It may not be verbatim, but we've asked this same question, right? In verse 7, tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth. So we're asking the Most High because our spirit really loves the Most High. That's why we never fit in or fitted in into the world. And we always knew that there was something special about us, or you may have known that you were different than everybody else. So you had some greater calling and things didn't make sense because deep down in your spirit, your soul loves the Most High. So tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, meaning where you feeding the flock? Where can I get the knowledge? Where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. Noonday represents the judgment. Noonday represents the peak of the heat, which is really coming from the chariots and the ICBM missiles. In Psalms chapter 91, it says 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand. Man. Thou shalt not be afraid of the destruction that flieth by day, or no, the arrow that flieth by noonday, paraphrasing. Great. Let me get that real quick just to prove that noonday, right, represents judgment. Psalms chapter 91 and verse number 6. I'll start at 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. This is dealing with World War III. You're not going to be afraid of when the missiles launch from Russia, from the state of Israel, from Iran. These are the arrows and the terrors by night and day. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Noonday is symbolic for destruction, right? Let's get another precept. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, the 34th chapter, right? This is Ecclesiasticus, right? Chapter 34 and verse number 16. Sirach 34 and 16. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat and a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from stumbling and then help from falling. So that doesn't mean he's a defense when it's 85 degrees, 100 degrees, and the Most High come with an AC. And no, it's speaking about affliction, right? And judgment. So in Song of Solomon, the elect are really asking, where are you feeding the people that learn this truth? And where can I be saved from the destruction coming on the earth? Because that's when we're really going to rest. You know, we're not resting here as the flock. We're being hunted by lions. We're being hunted by leopards. Or if you have ears to hear, we're being hunted by wild dogs, man. So we want to rest at noon. We want to be in the shade. For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions? Meaning, why should I commit spiritual fornication? Why should I turn aside to another? Why should I go off? Why should I be destroyed? I don't want to be destroyed. Show me where I can be saved. I read about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want what they have. I want what the promises. Verse 8, here's the answer. If thou know not, this the Lord answering. What, you didn't know? If thou know not, O thou fairest among women, because Israel is a woman, go thy way go thy way forth by the footsteps of the flock, and feed thy kids besides the shepherd's tents. So during the Feast of Tabernacles, you want to be by the shepherd's tents, right? So the Lord is telling you essentially, if you want to be delivered from the destruction, and if you really want it, you're going to follow the footsteps of the flock. You're going to follow the life of Daniel, the life of Zechariah, the life of John the Baptist, the life of the apostles, the life of the disciples. You're going to follow the footsteps of the flock. And once you follow them, you're going to feed and you're going to teach. Like David said in Psalms 51, then shall sinners be converted unto thee. So you're going to follow the footsteps of the flock, and then you're going to take that knowledge and you're going to feed the kids. That doesn't mean little children on a literal level, but it's speaking about the people. And you're going to feed them where? Besides the shepherd's tents, because the shepherds have everything that you need. The shepherds are our forefathers, our prophets, the apostles. You're going to dwell by their booths. So either you could be in your tent in the wilderness and be a murmurer, a fornicator, like we read in 1 Corinthians 10, a tempter, an idolater, or during the Feast of Tabernacles, you can dwell besides the shepherd's tents. Because again, our forefathers of old, man, they came out of Egypt and they were just outright going off. Right? Let's go to the book of Numbers. Actually, let's go to Exodus. Right? So here's how it looked when we came out of Egypt. I had this picture. All right, maybe I had this one. Right? Now we came out of Egypt, and when we dwelt in the wilderness, the Most High set us up. When you read the book of Numbers, it goes into us being set up in a military formation. Right? So you had the vanguard, right, which was Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. That's what you call it, the vanguard. They led the battle, right? They led the marching. And then you had the reward, right? And then you had the other tribes. So Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, they were one camp. Naphtali, Asher, and Dan were another. Benjamin, Manasseh, and Ephraim were another. And Reuben, Simeon, and Gad were another. And the Most High set this up, right? And it's spiritual that the Most High set this up because, again, these are the sons of Leah, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, right? And then you have Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh. Remember, Ephraim and Manasseh, they represent Joseph. Manasseh being the firstborn and Ephraim the younger. And why are they with Benjamin? Because Joseph and Benjamin were very, very tight, man. I'm not going to go back and pull every account and go to Genesis when Benjamin had, I believe, 5 times more messes of meat, and he wept upon Benjamin. That's why the Most High set it up the way he set it up. He said Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin together on purpose. He said Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun on purpose to prevent strife, confusion, madness. He put Simeon, Reuben, and Gad. Reuben is the firstborn. Simeon is the secondborn. And then you have Gad. And then you have Naphtali, Asher, and Dan. So the Most High set it up when you look at the relationship. And then you have the other tribes, right? Or you have the tribes set up behind the main camps. This is how we were set up in Egypt. This is what you call military formation. When people say, I hate camps, I'm anti-camps, you don't understand the Bible because we came out of Egypt as a camp, right? First, let's go to Exodus, right? Let's go to Exodus chapter 13. This is Exodus chapter 13 and verse, let's see if this is what I want. Salaki, I want to get 2 quick precepts, actually 3, right? Let's get Exodus, and then we're going to go to Numbers, the 33rd chapter. All right. This is, let's get this. Exodus chapter 13 and verse 17. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that the Most High led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For the Most High said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war and return to Egypt. So believe it or not, The Most High could have gave us a shortcut to go right to Egypt. I mean, right to the promised land. He had us go all the way around, right, to test us, to try us, to prove us. Right, let's pull up a map of our journeys, Israel journeys in the wilderness. Right, get into that geography, man. Right, you want to get into this geography. You want to know the pilgrimage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You want to see our travels. Right, so from Goshen all the way south through the Red Sea, all the way down this peninsula, the Sinai Peninsula, all the way across, around. The Most High just put us in a trick bag, man. Because Israel, not only were we wicked, but initially it was to prove us and to test us. But we could have took this straight from Goshen right to the land of the Philistines, a straight shot, right? A straight shot. Now, let's read on. The Most High didn't, and our people really on another level, we weren't equipped for war. The Philistines, the Hittites, those nations, we weren't ready for war yet. So the Most High had to build us up, or even on another level, right? That's in the book of Judges, the 3rd chapter. Exodus 13 and 18, here's the point. But the Most High led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. So what does this mean? Our people went up harnessed, our forefathers, out of the land of Egypt. What does the word harnessed mean? Let's go into this word in the Hebrew. Right? The word harnessed, it means in military formation. All right. So here's the word harnessed. Hamash, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Right? Now, if you have a concordance, it's H2570. In battle array, arrayed for a battle by fives, armed. So when we came out of Egypt, we weren't tripling over each other and, people trying to figure out what's going on. And no, we came out in battle array, right? That means you had weapons on you. We spoiled the Egyptians, man. You think we just took gold diamond rings, man? And we had swords, man. Shields. How do you think we was fighting against the Og of Bashan, Sihon, right? And all these nations, the Amalekites. Or you think that stuff materialized? No, we spoiled those heathen, man. So we came out in battle arrayed for battle by fives, armed. So we are a camp. We are an army. Now you look down, it says able-bodied soldiers, right? Armed men, harnessed. So here's the etymology, right? Here's the etymology of the word harnessed. It says harness, personal fighting equipment, body armor, also armor or trappings of a war horse, right? So again, it means personal fighting equipment. When you go back to Exodus, we didn't come out of Egypt in a single file line tripping on the back of each other's heels. We came out with personal fighting equipment, swords, daggers, bucklers, things for our cattle. We had gold and silver. We had those things, but we came out harnessed, man. So we're always a camp. When we had our boots, when we threw in our boots, we had our swords in there. We had our shields in there. We didn't just have walking around with a mule and 30 shekels of brass. No, we came out ready for war. It's like that's how we came out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Right? It's like you. Right? Let's go to Numbers. Let's go to the book of we'll hold that. Right? Let's go to Numbers, the 1st chapter. Right? So Numbers 33 goes more into our journeys, but I pulled the map up. So we'll hold that. This is Numbers chapter 1 and verse number 52. Right? Numbers chapter 1 and 52. It reads, and the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard throughout their host. So when we set our tents up, remember the Feast of Tabernacles is about you being mindful of how we dwelt in booths. When we dwelt in booths, we also dwelt in the booth because of warfare, because of the reproach of the heathen. And when we have our when we go to our different, so-called campgrounds and open fields and stuff like that, the woods for the Feast of Tabernacles, we keep brothers are armed out there, and for with whatever brothers are armed with, man. I'll just put it like that. Swords and whatever it takes, man. Nevertheless, we have watches, man. We have a first watch, a second watch, a third watch, a fourth watch. Brothers are armed. We're on patrol. Watchmen. We see something. You might blow the shofar. You might have a walkie-talkie. You might notify, hey, look, it's an Edomite creeping around. So when we dwell in a booth, it's about war too. And this is war, man. I mean, you got spiritual warfare going on. You got demons coming against you, lust, wickedness, temptations, right? You got women trying to damn entice you at your job, want you to break the Shabbat, all types of wiles and trickery. So again, during this booth, have a military mindset during this Feast of Tabernacles. Think like a general. Think like how our forefathers, we pitched our tents at camp, right? It wasn't just out there just for fun. It was real. It was the real deal out there. Hey, man, you had serpents and foxes and all types of stuff out there. Let me read this again. Numbers chapter 1 and 52. And the children of Israel, right, shall pitch their tents. And that's a military talk. Because again, one more point, when generals in the ancient world went to war, they would carry their gold. They might have their wives with them, their children, right? And when you watch the movie Gladiator, that's one of my favorite movies. They had the army out there, but they had tents set up. Let's see if I can pull out ancient war tents. All right, let's see if we can get Gladiator. Let's see if they can get the movie. Right? See if they show the tent. See that? So they had tents, man, set up. You read that in the book of Judith. Holofernes had a tent. And Daniel 11th chapter says the so-called white man, he's going to set up his tents, right, for the battle of Armageddon in Daniel 11 and 45. And this was inside his booth. So this wasn't just a stick here and a staff there. Certain men, when they had their tents like Abraham, they had gold, they had this, they had that. Unless you was like a regular soldier, you had these low-level booths. But if you was like a general or a king, like in the movie, I don't know if I believe Marcus Aurelius, was the king during this time. And I believe Maximus, he was supposed to play the role of, if I'm not mistaken, Septimius Severus. A brother could correct me if I'm wrong. But nevertheless, the relationship that they had was that of a king and a general. And you see his booth, right? So these are booths set up for war. All right? These are booths set up for war. You see that? See what you would keep in your tent? Your battle armor, your helmet, your shield, your buckler. Think about this on a spiritual level. Let's go to Job chapter 11 and 6. You can say, well, I don't get it. What does that have to do with anything? All right? Let's go to Job 11 and 6. There are levels to the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Job chapter 11 and verse 6. And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is, right? Know therefore that the Most High exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So certain things are double fold, right? You have triple fold scriptures, man, where things are broken down in layers. You may have a carnal level, a prophetic level, then another level, an allegorical level, right? So the secrets of wisdom are double to that which is. So when we speak about dwelling in the booth and pitching your tent, on another level, we're talking about warfare. And I'm not talking Russia and Iran. I'm talking that lust that's destroying you, man. I'm talking about that adultery. I'm talking about that pride, that anger, these spirits, the spiritual warfare. that we're dealing with. It reads, and the children, going back to Numbers 1 and 52, and the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard throughout their host. So again, pulling this back up on the map, this was every man by his own camp. Judah was with Judah, Issachar was with Issachar, Zebulun was with Zebulun, etc. And it said every man by his own standard. So when we dwelt in our booths, we had a standard. A standard is not necessarily a measure of success. On a literal level, a standard in antiquity is a banner, a flag, if you can understand, that families and nations would go to war and they would have their family crest, right? They would have their coat of arms, and they would have certain logos and symbols to represent what they fought for. Now, that's why you see a coat of arms. If you look up, I don't like seeing the Edomite version. Let's see. When Jake ruled Europe, right? We all know about this. If not, you find out right now. Right? We ruled Europe after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire fell. Now you had Jake that was ruling here and there prior to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But when after the Battle of Ravenna, 476 AD, that marked the end of the Western Roman Empire, right? And it brought in the Moors. You had the Holy Roman Empire that ruled from around 800 AD to around even the early 1800s, and Jake dominated that. Right? You had the Moors that ruled Spain, right? Portugal, the Iberian Peninsula. And the point is, they would have a coat of arms. This is their standard that Jake had. And we had that back from the ancient world. When you see these coat of arms and these logos and symbols and names on flags, it started with Jake, right? It started with Israel. That's a standard right there that you would go to war with. See this brother right here? And he's part of the Holy Roman Empire. He got a chalice in his hand, a sword, and a shield with a standard on it. Right? A shield with a standard on it. So we did that. We had our own standard. Now, when you go through the history, there's no set scripture, but when you go through the history, the four standards for the camp of Judah, let's pull it back up. Let's pull his map back up. Judah's camp, Reuben's camp, Dan's camp, and Ephraim's camp. The four standards were what? Let's pull this up. They say, what were the standards of the tribes of Israel? The four standards, therefore, were composed of the colors of the three tribes of the same triad. The tradition, so there's no exact precept. You can't say what precept is that. But tradition, right, continues that each of the four standards had a living being depicted on it. Judah's animal was a lion, Reuben's a man, Ephraim's an ox, and Dan's an eagle. And that ultimately goes back to the four beasts. When you go to Ezekiel, the first chapter, and Revelation, the fourth chapter. Let's go to Revelation 4. So we had a standard, right? This is traditionally speaking, right? Revelation chapter 4 and verse number 6. And before the throne, there was a sea of glass, like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were four beasts full of eyes before and behind. So John the Revelator saw these four beasts, meaning these angels. The word beast just means a living creature, a living being, right? It's not talking about a tiger or a bear. That's why it's important to go into these words, And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had the face of a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. So that's why the tradition goes into these ox, the lion, the man, and the eagle for the four standards that we had during the time of war, right? Let's go to Ezekiel, the first chapter. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse number 10, right? Let's see. See if I want to jump up. I want to see. This is here it is. Right, Ezekiel chapter 1 and 5. Also, out of the midst thereof, this is the vision of the glory of God that Ezekiel saw. He saw the chariots and he saw the angels. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So these living creatures are the beast that you read about, right? And there's different types of beast. Let's go to the etymology of the word beast, right? Here's the word beast. It means one of the lower animals. Let's see. That's not what I want. I want beast. Okay, one of the lower animals, from the Latin bestia, meaning beast, wild animal, which is of an unknown origin. Now you go to the word animal. Animal means a living creature, right? Like animas, right? Or animated. So animal, any sentient living creature. Here it is. Here's what I want, right? It drove out the older beast in common language. So when you see the word beast in the scriptures, it's speaking about animals, and animals means living creatures. That's why in Ezekiel, they're called living creatures here, but in Revelation, they're called beast when you go back to the Greek. But they're the same things. These 4 living creatures are the 4 beasts, because beast does mean living creatures. All right. Now, when you jump down to these creatures, these angels, if you will, Ezekiel 1 and 10, as for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. So you had a face of a lion, ox, eagle, and a man. So that goes back to the tradition of the 4 standards that were set up: a lion, a man, an ox, and an eagle. Now, in the modern day camp that we're setting up in our spiritual booth, we also have a standard set up, but it's no longer a lion, a man, an ox, and an eagle. The standard that we're setting up now is these scriptures, man. The word of the Most High. This is the banner that we're setting up. This is the standard that we're setting up as we dwell in our booth, right? Let's get that in Isaiah. That's Isaiah the 13th chapter. Lift ye up the banner, right? Isaiah chapter 13 and 2. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So when you lift up a banner, that's a declaration of war. So the Most High is essentially declaring war against America. And it's starting by spiritual warfare first, by the word of God, by the precepts coming out. This is the banner. There's no flag of the nation of Israel, right? Like the Star-Spangled Banner, the stars and stripes, and we don't have that, man. Our banner is the word of the Most High. And that's what we wave when we dwell in these booths, right? That's what we're waving. When you go to Jeremiah, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. The Lord says, set the standard, you know? Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 12. Here's another precept. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. So this is warfare. This is actual war. If you're setting up a standard, you're going to war. Though that's why when brothers go to camp, it's war. That's not fun time. It ain't time to be seen. It ain't time to be liked, man, by women. It's war out there. Spiritual warfare. And sometimes stuff can get carnal out there, man. You know, you do your best to de-escalate it, but sometimes, hey, things are what the Most High makes them. So set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So again, as we set our booth up, be mindful that we set our standard up as well. What is your standard? Right here's the word standard. Something lifted up. Yahushua said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. That's why the banner, the standard is the word of God. That's why, what does it say in John chapter 3 and 14? Even as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. So why was the serpent lifted up? That the people could be healed. It was a standard set up. Why is Yahushua being lifted up? That all men could be drawn unto him. We're lifting up the word of God now. The standard. A banner, an ensign. Standard as a rallying point or a signal. So when we dwelt in our booths and there was war or something befell Israel, you would have a standard set up and everybody would see that standard. And if they were scattered abroad, they would resort back to that place. That's what a rallying point is. When the army is scattered abroad due to war and you see your standard bearer, he holds his standard up and blow the trumpet, and men see that and they realize that they're too far from each other and they come together. Right? So that's what Yahushua does for us. Because right now we're an army, we're dwelling in booths, but we're scattered abroad. And the Most High is calling us to gather together. So that's why we have this standard, right? Which is these scriptures, man. The word of the Most High. So let's go back to this, right? In the book of Numbers. Let's go to Numbers, the 2nd chapter, about us dwelling in booths and spiritual warfare, right? Let's go to Numbers chapter 2. This is Numbers chapter 2 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard with the ensign of their father's house. Far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. So the Lord starts setting up the standards. So we had our own ensign, and the ensign again now is the word of the Most High. You read that in the book of Isaiah, the 11th chapter. Isaiah chapter 11. Right? So when we set tents up, it was for warfare. We had standards, we had ensigns. Let's see that play out. Let's go to 1 Maccabees, the 4th chapter. So when you dwell in your booth, think about warfare, man. Spiritual warfare, if you will. And make sure you have what you need in your booth, man. And you're the booth. Make sure you're armed. You have the sword of the Spirit. You have your shield. You stand diligent. Right? You have the helmet of salvation. That should be inside of your booth. Not just liquor and wine and a woman. 1 Maccabees, I want chapter 4 and 29. 1 Maccabees 4 and 29. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents. So they had to set their booth up at Beth Surah. And Judas met them with 10,000 men. Why did he meet them with 10,000 men? For war. To kill them. To destroy the heathen. Let's actually jump down and see that. 1 Maccabees 4 and 34. So they joined battle. And there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. So we pitched our tents. We took our swords, our battle armor out. And after we pitched our tents, we joined battle against these heathen. So you come into this truth, man. You're coming into this truth for war. Right? You're pitching your tent. You are the tent. Like we've been covering all week. And you're pitching your tent for warfare. Right? Let's get another count. And that's what this truth is about. It is about warfare. Right? 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse number 2. Who went forth by the way that leadeth to Galgala and pitched their tents before Masaloth, which is in Arbela. And after they had won it, they slew much people. So again, just another precept showing about how pitching your tents goes into slaying the people, because it's warfare. It's warfare, right? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10 to 20. And what would happen in war, right? If you were of one army and you fought with 10,000 men, and you had another army that fought against you, and they had 10,000 men. After you pitched your tents, if you were to lose that battle and your army got killed, they would spoil your tent. They would go in your tent and they would take whatever they want, man. And if they had gold, if you had gold in your tent, they taking your gold. If you had woman in your tent, they taking your woman, man. If you had children, they taking your children. If you had swords, they taking swords. They take what they want to take in war. So if you get defeated in this warfare, everything that you have is going to be taken from you. Yahweh Shah said that, man. Well, let me actually get that real quick. Yahweh Shah said, get that precept. I believe that's Matthew, the 11th chapter. Right? This is Matthew, actually the 13th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. The Lord said everything's going to be taken away from you, man. Right? Matthew chapter 13 and verse 12. For whosoever hath, it shall to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. So if you have the truth, if you have the works, the understanding, the knowledge, the Most High is going to increase you. But whosoever hath not, if you lose the battle, you're not using the work, doing the work, you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the understanding, the integrity and honor to do the commandments. That's this man. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath. He's going to get his tent spoiled, man. That's where you see brothers, they fall out the truth. They got their tabernacle spoiled. Wisdom was taken from them. Knowledge was taken. And wisdom is your woman, man. So wisdom was taken from you. Your knowledge was taken away from you. Your zeal, your faith, your virtue, your integrity, your honor. You got your tent spoiled and burnt with the fire by the spiritual demon Satan and his demons. And you lost his war. All of Israel now is pitching their tents. And we're being led by Yahweh Basham Yahushua. And we're going to war. And then you have Satan. He's pitching his tents, man. And inside his army, he got all these different demons. And they're clashing one after the other. And certain men are being defeated and getting their tent spoiled. You know? This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 20. My tabernacle is spoiled, meaning robbed, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. You see that? So this is speaking about Jeremiah and the land. Not that actually Jeremiah's his actual tabernacle, but he's speaking about the people, man. His spirit, the land. So your tabernacle can get spoiled. If you're not diligent, if you pitch your tent and you get spoiled, you get robbed, man, by these demons, and they take your knowledge from you, your virtue from you, your integrity from you, you're going to be defeated in this war. Do not, during the Feast of Tabernacles, get your tabernacle spoiled, man, by lust, by pride, by disobedience, by a slothfulness, man. We was going into that earlier. Slothfulness is a demon that's going to go in your tabernacle and rob you, man. So Jeremiah said, my tabernacle is spoiled and all my cords are broken. The cord is what upholds you. My children are going forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore and to set up my curtains. And once the Most High take it from you, nobody's going to set your tent up anymore. Can't nobody help you no more, man. Once you fall out this truth and you blaspheme the Holy Spirit, it's over. It's over. So you can't abuse this grace, man, and expect the brother to help you just build your tent back up. And the Lord said in Galatians 6, we that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. And you are supposed to help your brother up. If his tent is kind of leaning, and you help that brother, man. And during the Feast of Tabernacles, we were helping brothers with their tents, man, by the mercy of the Most High. Every time a brother came, you had brothers that just swarmed to help that brother set his tent up. So if they do that on the physical level, they do that on the spiritual level. And they help him stretch his tent up. Hey, lay the tarp down, slide the back pole through it, peg it down, put the stakes in the ground, and you help a man stretch out his tent. But once you start abusing the works of the Most High, the grace of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, nobody's going to be able to stretch out your tent anymore or set up your curtains. And your curtains are used for what? To insulate your tent, keep the rain from creeping in, provide shade, keep the cold out, and you'll just be utterly cast out with no protection. That's how it's working, and that's how it's happening. It's happening every day, man. Right? Let's go to Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Right? Again, through the spirit of the Most High, this is warfare. We're setting our booths up. We're setting our tents up. Right, here's another one. The camp of Israel. Right? And they actually give the numbers. So the camp of Judah, let's start with that. 74,000 men. I'm not going to read every number, but they had total 186,000. This was the largest camp. And they have the lion right there. Then you had the camp of Dan. They had 157,000. The camp of Reuben. It had the man as the ensign. And the camp of Ephraim. They had the ox. Right? And that's how we were set up. And then the center was the Levites. Right? So we are setting our booths up now. Right? Everybody should have their booth. Whether they have a booth inside or outside. Everybody should have their booth. All right? Here's another one. We brought this up before. And remember, these booths were also set up for war. Because we were a camp and we came out harnessed, and this was warfare. We had to fight against all these heathen, man. Sihon, Og, right? These Amorites, Amalekites. So inside of these tents again was weapons, man. Because remember, we came up harnessed out of Egypt. So we had swords in there, daggers, etc. Right? So let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 10. Ephesians chapter 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh, Bashmi Abashai, and in the power of his might. Put on a whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So inside your tabernacle, you better have the armor of the Most High. Don't just have liquor and mirth, man. Because the devil, the spiritual demon Satan, he has wiles to get inside your tent. Wiles means what? Trickery, guile, deceit. And he'll come as money. He'll come as women. He'll come as opportunities, success, achievements. He'll come as a grudge. He'll come as wrath. He'll come as depression. Satan will come many different ways. And if you don't have the armor of the Most High on, you're going to be caught out there. Right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And believe it or not, this is real, man. The wars that we have in this truth, the conflicts, the battles, whether internal or external, it's being done by angels and demons. You're fighting against demons. It's not that man. It's not that woman. They have nothing to do with this. They have no skin in the game. There's the way she did, he did. This is deeper than that. There are actual demons. There's actual demons. They dwell in the third heaven, and they have their dwelling terrestrially amongst men. They come down from the third heaven. Not on their own accord, but they're given the instruction to come down. And they dwell amongst men. And they attach themselves to men. And they put spirits on men, spirits on women. And a lot of people, man, you let these demons all in your tabernacle, man. They're all in your tent. You don't even know that. Keep your tent protected, man. Don't get your tent spoiled, man, like we read in Jeremiah. You fight against demons. Slothfulness, that's a demon. Procrastination, that's a demon. Making excuses, that's a demon. Pride, deceit, grudges, guile, vanities, diverse wickedness, adultery, fornication, right? These are demons, perjury, utter madness, backbiting, murmuring, whispering, doubt, giving your strength over the woman. These are demons that you're at war against. Then you got actual warlocks, man. These elites, they have warlocks, they have wizards, you know, they have counselors that mediums that deal directly with the spiritual demon Satan, that give them advice and counsels on how to put demons on people. And you got people sitting up there trying to put demons on you right now, man. In some deep, dark room. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Right? So if you don't have the whole armor of the Most High, you're going to have a hard time in this truth. You're going to always go off. You'll never have any sure foundation. And it's only a matter of time, huh, before you get your tent spoiled. But you have to be mindful. Do I have the whole armor of the Most High on today? Yeah, I got my fringes on. Okay. Right? Brothers, I knew a brother that committed adultery with his fringes on because he didn't have the armor of the Most High on. He said he lifted up his fringes, man, while he committed adultery. And brothers asked him, did you have your fringes on? He said, Khan, I had my fringes on. And he looked at his fringes. But these fringes, they only go so far. You need that armor of the Most High too. Right? Verse 14, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. And Slakia, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye may be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So right now, Satan is throwing darts at you, fiery darts. And if you don't believe in his truth, those darts are going to kill you. This is how people fall out, man. If you really, had, like Elisha told his servant, he said, Lord, open his eyes. And he opened his eyes and he saw the chariot full of horses and fire round about Elisha in 2 Kings, the 6th chapter. If the Lord was to open our eyes, we would see the demons that we battle. You would see that demon on that woman's back, that demon on your wife's back, that demon on your children, man, and your so-called boss, your supervisor, your co-workers. It will be attached to them. And it will be whispering in their ear, make him angry, make him sad, provoke him, entice him, get him, seduce him. And that demon's whispering in their ear, get him, hurry, almost, say this, do that. Now, you can't see that. You don't see these things happening. You're just going through the motions like an ox led to the slaughter. But that's Satan right now. He's throwing damn fiery darts at you, man. And you got to have your shield of faith up. Like, oh, whoa, and have these precepts that you believe in to bank on to defeat these spirits coming against. This is war. If anybody's throwing darts at you, that's war. Arrows, that's war. They're looking to kill you. Ephesians 6 and 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And don't just be having your shield up, You're getting abused by these demons. I just believe. I just believe. That's my shield of faith. Brother, you better go to war against these demons. You better get busy, man. You better start cutting up these spirits, reading these scriptures out loud, rebuking these demons with these precepts, man. Having them in your mind as a defense, cutting them up with the word of the Most High. Go in your tent, man, and grab that sword. Don't get your tent spoiled from all about they take all your damn armor away from you, man. And these demons spoil you in the middle of the night. That's the last thing you want to happen, man. Let's go to the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. Right? This is the book of St. Mark, chapter 3 and verse 25. St. Mark 3 and 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And you see that. Mainly, this is going into Israel. You had so many political factions. You had the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes, the Herodians, the Zealots, the Sicarii. You had all these, you had coons, you had sellouts, you had the apostles. So you had so many different factions. We fell by the Romans, you know. Also, this goes into the so-called white man, right? Divided against itself, it cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Here's the point. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, then he will spoil his house. And this happens, man. Now, on one hand, Yahushua did this for us. Yahushua spoiled the tents. He spoiled the tabernacle. He went into the strong man's house. He bound up Satan, who has no more, not literally bound up, but in spiritual warfare, Yahushua conquered principalities and powers that plagued the people of God. He cast out devils. He rebuked foul spirits. He shut down Satan. And then he spoiled his house. And he took the people captive, which were the elect, from the vice grips of Satan and brought them to the Most High. Right? When you go to, let's go to 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. Right? We were all at one time taken captive. And the Lord went and spoiled the tent and brought us out. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 26. And that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. So if it wasn't for Yahushua, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, we would have still been captive inside the tabernacle of lust, adultery, right? Pride, vanity, breaking the Shabbat. These demons would have still had their hands on us. We would have been in yokes and manacles and fetters because we were taken captive. Prior to Yahushua returning, we were like this, naked and barefoot, marching to destruction. You got to think about this spiritually. Then Yahushua came and broke those bands and clothed us and gave us to the Heavenly Father. Right? That's what Yahushua did. He broke the bands. That's why he said in John the 8th chapter, what did he say? Right? Let's go to John chapter 8, the classic. This is John chapter 8 and verse number 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye should be made free? They didn't know that they was in bondage. And two things. One, how ridiculous is it for you to say we were never in bondage to any man when you were in bondage during the time of Egypt, Syria, Babylon, Persia, the Medes, the Greeks? At this time, they were in bondage to the Romans. So it blows my mind every time I read John the 8th chapter for our forefathers to even put a statement out there that we were never in bondage to any man. When they're paying tribute to the Romans. On another level, just because you're not in bondage to man doesn't mean you're not under bondage. You're in bondage to these demons, to Satan, to these spirits. So they didn't understand that we can be made free. So Yahushua is going to explain it. John 8:34. Yahushua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. Meaning you are a slave to your own vices. That smoking weed demon is your slave master. That backbiting demon, that's your slave master. That's what you submit to. That pride, can't take correction, vanity, lust, wickedness, adultery, theft. These are things that rule over man in the land of the living. So what Yahushua did was he went in and he bound up the strong man and delivered us from the hands of Satan. Satan is a strong man and he spoiled his goods, right? Satan is a strong man on a spiritual level, and we were taken away by Yahushua from Satan, right? Let's get that. Let's get that in Colossians, the 2nd chapter, right? So Yahushua spoiled his house, man, right? This is Colossians chapter 2 and verse 15. And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. What does that mean? Yahushua spoiled principalities and powers. These are the spirits, the demons that had rule over us. And Yahushua did it openly. He cast out demons openly. He was crucified openly. And he triumphed over them. We got to picture this as a king leading about a chain gang, man. See, the scriptures you need to have, when the Lord said be born again, there's also going into having a childlike imagination. Because you have to be able to have some type of mind to imagine this, to envision this. Don't and never, it's like stop. Stop reading the Bible, like we always say, like an old so-called white man. You got to get into this thing. This is living, breathing. Think about a war movie and how a king goes and destroys the nations and frees all of the citizens and does a march back to his own city while they're blowing the trumpet and the women are dancing and they praising them. That's what the Apostle Paul is painting the picture of. As a man that went to war and conquered and was victorious. So Yahushua spoiled the tents of these demons and brought us out. Right? So when you go back to Mark, the 3rd chapter, let's read this again. Mark chapter 3 and 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will bind the strong man. Then he will spoil his house. Right? Then will he spoil his house. This is warfare. This truth is warfare. When you spoil something, that's warfare. Let's get that. I want to get that word in the Greek for spoiled. Right? It reads a pekdiamai, right? A pekdiamai, which says wholly put off oneself, denoting separation, despoil, disarm, right? Disarm. So you can get disarmed by Satan, or you could disarm these demons. All right. Let's go to the book of second Ezra. Right, second Ezra, like the 7th chapter. So Yahushua went and cast out these spirits. Let me get this verse. I believe that's John, the 12th chapter. Right? This is John chapter 12 and verse number 31. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Who's the prince of this world? Satan. It's not talking about the so-called white man. He wasn't cast out, right, at this time. This is speaking about the spiritual demon Satan, the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So this is the precept for Colossians 2 and 15. The prince of the world being cast out, the strong man being bound up, being defeated. Right? Let's go to John, the 14th chapter. Spiritual warfare is real, man. Right? This is John chapter 14 and verse 30. Hereafter, I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh and hath nothing in me. So the prince of the world is Satan, and he has nothing in Yahushua. Right? Let's go to John, the 16th chapter. Right? Let's go to John, the 16th chapter. This is John chapter 16 and verse 11. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Who's the prince of this world? The spiritual demon Satan. He's being judged. Not that he did evil, right? Because Satan works for the Most High, but Satan no longer has the ability to have dominion over us. We're free from that. We believe in Yahushua. So the demons that caused us to commit sins unto death, we're free from that. And we're not worried about, being destroyed in our sins, because Yahushua came to free us from our sins. So yes, the prince of the world is judged. Spiritual warfare is real, and his tents have been spoiled. Right? Now there's another precept I had in mind, but Lord willing, it comes back to me. Let's go to the book of Daniel, since we're still dealing with this spiritual warfare. Right? You have your spiritual tent, and this is spiritual warfare. Daniel chapter 10 and verse 12. Right? Remember, so Daniel went on a fast. The fast went longer than expected. This angel was supposed to come to Daniel on the first day of his fast. The angel came 20 days later. Right? 21 days. And then the angel came to him. And the angel is about to explain to him, why didn't he come on the first day? Something happened that stopped this angel from coming to Daniel on the first day. Daniel chapter 10 and 12. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day thou didst set thine heart to understand, and to chasten thyself before thy God. Thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. So Daniel prayed, he fasted, and the Lord sent the angel down. But the prince, we just read about this prince, and John the 12th chapter, John the 14th chapter, John the 16th chapter. I even quoted, paraphrased Ephesians the 2nd chapter. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. That's not an actual king. A king and his mind or his might can't stop an angel for 21 days. You show me one king that can stop an angel 21 days, and I'll close the live right now. You give me one man that can withstand an angel. An angel can stand in the sun, man. An angel could touch your damn thigh and the hip and they get out of joint. Ask Jacob, man. You got angels that stand in the sun, right? You got angels that control the elements. Psalms 103 says the angels, they excel in strength. So this isn't the actual man or the actual prince of Persia. No, it's a demon, a spirit that the Most High knew about. And the Most High sent this spirit to stop this other spirit from coming to Daniel. Well, why would the Most High do? Hey, well, the Most High, he do what he wanted to do. Well, I don't get it. I don't know why the Lord did that. Well, it's none of your business, man. The Most High put this account in here for our learning, that we can know how these spirits operate, how the Most High has these things set up. So the angel is given a record about the wars and the warfare that he experienced, how he was withheld for 21 days from coming to Daniel. I want to go into this word withstood, right? When you withstand somebody, that really, if the blue letter, if they have it, they should be going into war. All right, let's see if they have it. Okay, here it is. To make a stand, hold one's ground. So that's like you trying to go into door number one and somebody's there withstanding you. You're going and they're pushing you. You get up, you go again, they're stopping you. You're exerting force. They're exerting force. You have a will to get in. They have a will not to let you in, but they're stronger than you. So for 20 days, 21 days, you're trying to get in this door, but somebody's stopping you. So that's what he's explaining in Daniel 10th chapter. Let's read it again. Daniel chapter 10 and verse 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, he's one of the chief angels, came to help me. So the Most High sent Michael down, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Right? So you have covert operations, for lack of better terms, being done behind the scenes. Even right now, there are angels working on our behalf. While we dwell in the booth and we're going through warfare, you have an actual angel at war right now. There's an actual angel at war right now helping you help yourself by fighting these demons. Let's get that in Psalms chapter 34. Right? Everybody knows about where everybody has a guardian angel. But your guardian angel isn't a little white baby. What the damn hair lick thing right there and the rosy cheeks. No, your angel, your guardian angel, he's a strong so-called black angel, dark-skinned, melanated angel, and he's here for war. Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So when you encamp, what does that mean? War. When you encamp, you pitch your tent. Now, does the angel have a tent? There's no account. But when you encamp, it's warfare. You setting up your military formation. So think about it. There's an angel around you right now, like this, and he got a sword. He got a sword in his hand. And you have wicked nations throwing up curses on you, sending lower level demons on you. But the angel, he's cutting up these demons as we speak. And the Most High sent these angels on a high level operation to protect other spirits that were up there in the third heaven, the elect spirits that are protected and have bodyguards by other angels. This is beyond flesh and blood. This angel ain't here to protect your flesh. He's here to protect your spirit. So your spirit doesn't get spoiled and ransacked by pride, vanity, wrath, different devices. You think this angel care about your muscle mass? Got to protect his muscles. I don't want his muscles. No. Right? It's not happening. Now, encamp. Let's go into this word encamp. Let's see if they have this. We getting it in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. See that? Go encamp, meaning go into camp, settle in temporary quarters. Right? So that's what camp is. It reads, here's the etymology of camp. From the Latin campus, meaning open field, level space, especially, right? Especially open space for military exercise. So what are these angels doing? They're in an open space for military work. Military work. So there was an angel sent to Daniel. Then you had another angel, a higher level demon that stopped this angel. Now, it doesn't say they have swords and there's no account of what was really going on. We don't know. We don't know what was going on. Hey, but when you go to Second Maccabees, you have an idea, right? And the Most High controls this. It's not as if these demons are doing what they want to do. Hey, the Most High, he's setting this thing up. Here's Second Maccabees, chapter 5, and verse number 1. Second Maccabees 5 and 1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt. And then it happened that through all the city, check this out, this is during the time of the Maccabees, that through all the city, Slakia, for the space almost of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air, and cloth of gold, and armed with lances, like a band of soldiers. So they saw angels and chariots. That's what they saw. For how long? 40 days. They saw a what you call a military drill. Like Russia and China, they'll do naval drills. You know, NATO, they'll do land drills. So the angels, the Most High, they do drills. War games, if you will. Simulating war. Verse 3. And troops of horsemen in array. So they were harnessed, encountering and running one against another with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes and drawing of swords and casting of darts and glittering of golden ornaments and harness of all sorts. So they saw angels fighting, chariots shooting out laser beams, force fields being activated, angel clashing with another angel. They saw this thing go down. And they didn't know what it meant. That's why it says in verse 4, wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good. They didn't know if that was a good sign or a sign of judgment. They didn't know, you know, but that spiritual warfare and activities and military drills going on a high level. Going back to Daniel chapter 10, verse 14. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, but yet the vision is for many days. So you could be praying to the Most High, your prayer may not be heard because the demon is stopping an angel from answering your prayer. And the Most High sent that demon there. So you can keep praying more earnestly to build your faith up. And this is a mighty vision that Daniel saw, a very mighty vision. So let's jump down. Daniel chapter 10 and verse 20. Then said he, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am going forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. So he's going to fight against these principalities. And once he's done fighting the principality, he's going to be sent to the third heaven. And then the next demon, the Most High, is going to send another demon down to influence the rulers. Philip II of Macedon, Alexander the Greek, Lysimachus, Cassander, Seleucus, Ptolemy, Antigonus, Perdiccas, Hystiapes, these Greek generals to come into power. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael your prince. So you have spiritual warfare going on a high level. And either you're going to get your tent spoiled or you're going to overcome. Let's go to Second Maccabees. Second Esdras. Right? Do not get your tent spoiled. Be mindful of these demons that are operating. They're outside your house, your apartment complex, your mansion, your condo, your townhouse, your damn duplex, your flat, your cottage, your tent, your booth. They're around you. And now there's an angel fighting on your behalf, but you also have to fight. And don't get your tent spoiled. Second Esdras, chapter 7, and verse number, I want to get straight to the point, 57. Second Ezra 7:57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, that man which is born upon the earth shall fight. So you're born in this earth to fight a battle. And the conditions are played out. And not everybody has the same battlefield. Certain brothers' battlefield, they consist of this struggle between them and their families. You know, some people, they struggle with them in a relationship with their women. You know, some people struggle with finances, and that's their condition, this never-ending battle of always being broke and never having enough. Some people's conditions and battlefield consist of infirmities that seem as though they can never be healed, health issues that never go away, to try them and to test them. Some people deal with, anything, man. Everybody has a battlefield set up by Yahweh Shah. And you're taken from the third heaven and you're put in that battlefield. Verse 58. And you're here to fight. You were born to fight. The Most High is a man of war. I don't know if anybody told you, but Exodus 15:3 says Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. And wars aren't just ICBM missiles and China and Russia and the kings of the East. The war starts within. Second Ezra 7:58. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. So if you get overthrown by these demons, you're gonna get your tent spoiled, and they're gonna take everything that you have. They're gonna rob you, right? If you get defeated by pride, lust, wickedness, adultery, theft, man stealing, murder, hatred, variance, idolatry, bearing false witness, whispering. If you get defeated by that, all of your knowledge and wisdom and understanding is going to be taken every day and taken away from you. And you're going to die in the battlefield. People die in the battlefield all the time. After a war, they always list how many men died on each side. Okay, these men, we had 10,000 men, they died over here. 20,000 men died. I don't want to see the number, but there's a number of how many men died in the battlefield. I mean, how many men fell out the truth? How many casualties does Satan have? Because he's killing people, man. People are falling out. This is why I'm not a Hebrew Israelite anymore, right? All they did was teach me to do this. And here's why I fell out. And I'm past that in my life. And I'm closing that chapter in the book. And all of these, this madness. Because they were destroyed in the battlefield. And they're suffering. And they're going to suffer more. It's going to be by fire and by brimstone, man. Right? Let's go to 2 Timothy, the second chapter. Right? 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse number 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So again, we're dwelling in these booths like our forefathers, and they were good soldiers, man. Moses, he was a good soldier. Joshua was an actual good soldier. Caleb was a good soldier. David was a good soldier. These were great soldiers for Yahweh Bashmi Shah. All right. And you have to be a good soldier. It didn't say just be a regular soldier. Because you got people that are in the army, but they don't know why they're there. Hey, they're thinking about getting that Hellcat, man. They're thinking about getting a tuition paid. How many women they could pop. Damn, they want to go on tour. They've never been overseas, so they want to go overseas. They want to try something new in their life. They don't know what's going on. Because they die in the battlefield. You want to be a good soldier for Yahweh Shah. No man that warreth, is the word war again. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. So when you're put in this battle, you can't entangle yourself with the affairs of this life. You can't let your woman conquer you. You can't be conquered by your job. You can't be entangled by money. You can't be entangled by the world. The affairs of this life is really saying the world. A soldier has to be focused. If he's not focused, not only is his health and life compromised, but the brothers that he labors with in the battlefield, their lives are now compromised. If he's thinking about eating a hoagie and the enemy's damn shooting him, I mean, his brother's going to die and he's going to die. So when you're in this war, you got to be focused. Because right now, it's damn trench warfare. And you dodging the fiery darts of the wicked and you quenching them. And you got your sword out. That's why it's important to pray. These are the weapons you have. It's important to read. It's important to do the work. It's important to study. It's important to fast. These are the armory, the weapons in the armory that Yahweh Basham has given you. And if you are willfully just negligent of the armory, you're going to be entangled with the affairs of this life. You're not going to please him. Right? Who chose you to be a soldier? You were chosen to fight. You were chosen to endure. You were chosen to overcome. You were chosen to conquer and not to be conquered. You were chosen to do the spoiling and not to be spoiled. Right? That's what the Most High set us up to be, soldiers during the Feast of Tabernacles, man, and spiritual warfare as we dwell in our booths. Right? 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. So our wars are spiritual wars. And you know what you're warring against, man. The Lord said, abstain from fleshly love, which flesh, it's like a fleshly lust, which war against the soul. You know, so you know what you battle, man. You know what's always making you go off, what you have a hard time doing. That thing you just can't never do. You were supposed to study, but you're always putting it off. Right? You were supposed to do this, but it never happens. And you know what it is. That's always defeating you, and you can never do it. You're supposed to travel to do the work, go to camp. You're supposed to go on a 2-day fast. You never did it. You were always supposed to do something, but you never do it because you're losing a war. When are you going to stand up, huh? When are you going to overcome this demon that's just spoiling your tent, man? You got your hands stuck up, getting robbed. Stop getting robbed by these demons, man. Stop getting robbed by these demons, right? Because there's a reward coming for this, man. There is a reward coming for those who endure. But if you constantly getting just violated and spoiled and taken captive, then what the hell are you doing, man? Right? Let's read the next verse. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. See that? So you want to see what weapons you have, man. Yeah, the Most High gave you weapons. You got the sword. You got daggers. You got bucklers. You have weapons. Use these weapons in the war that the Most High gave you. And your brother's a weapon, man. The Lord likens Judah to a bow and Ephraim to an arrow. When I bent Judah for me and filled the bow with Ephraim and raised thee up as the sword of a mighty man. And eventually, if you overcome, then you're going to be actually doing the spoiling, man. All right, let's get that in Zechariah, the 14th chapter. Right? There's a reward for overcoming. Zechariah chapter 14 and 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Here's the word spoil again, which represents the treasures that come with war. And this day is coming when you're going to rob all these heathen. All of the gold, all of the things that Solomon had, all of the precious instruments, snuffers, dishes, spoons, right? Pans, trays, forks, basins, chapters, pillars, all the things that were in the temple, they have that. They have it. Now you can say, well, I went to the museum, I didn't see it. I traveled to the Smithsonian, I didn't see it. They have it. All of the things we had in Jerusalem, they took it, man. It's let me pull this up. Romans take the menorah on the Ark of Titus. Look at this madness. They're praising how they took all your stuff, man. They spoiled the city, man, and took it. This menorah right here, it's still around. It's still somewhere. Maybe it's under the Vatican. Maybe it's somewhere in Britain, London. Maybe it's under the damn King Charles bed, under some secret chamber of baby blood. But if you overcome, we're talking physically now. You're going to get all this stuff back. You're going to spoil these heathen, man. You're going to get your menorah back. You're going to get all your gold back, all your cups. You're going to get all this stuff back, man. And I'm talking about force. It's going to get literal. Now you can say, oh, I thought this was spiritual war. Yeah, spiritual war. But if you overcome, it's going to become literal war. Zechariah 14 and verse number 2. I love Zechariah the 14th chapter, man. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. So imagine, this is what you're missing out on for that blunt, that woman, that backbiting, that back talk. This is what you're missing out on. You said lust is more important and has a greater reward than conquering your enemies and rifling the houses of them. You rather get your tent spoiled on a spiritual level than to spoil the armies of the heathen. Every time you go off, you're no better than Esau. Now, we all go off, right? We're in the flesh. But every time you willfully go off, you're like selling your birthright, huh? For a piece of meat, for the world, for things that are temporary. Esau did it for something that's so vain. He's such a weak man. He has no honor, no fear of God, no integrity, and he did it for a piece of meat. That's why in Hebrews it says that, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. He's telling Jake, Paul was telling the Israel, don't be like Esau, who for one morsel of meat, for one night of lust, one pride, backbiting, whispering, murmuring, vanity, concupiscence, idolatry. That's that one morsel of meat. You sold your birthright, and you selling your birthright every time you're going off. So stop getting on Esau for being a wicked when you're moving just like the so-called white man. Stop getting on him. Stop having them bow down, kiss the boot. Stop pulling Revelation 13:10 because you're just like him. Selling your birthright for vanity. And you're willing to do that rather than to rob and spoil and rifle the houses of the heathen. That's the reward for the righteous. Zechariah 14:2. Imagine rifling the house of these mansions that Esau has. These kings, these queens, right? These deep underground military bases, man. You're going to have a damn sack, man. And you're going to take whatever you want. You're going to put in that sack. You're going to put that sack on your back. You're going to kick an Edomite in his neck. You're going to have his damn gold on. You're going to rip that gold off. You're going to put it in your sack. You're going to chop their finger off, get their ring, put the ring in the sack, put it back, and you're moving on you're going to take whatever you want to take. Whatever is good and pleasing in your eyes. And you're going to take the woman captive. I don't want to take the woman captive. That's too much. All right, brother, that's your prerogative. That's your MO. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I love my wife. That's fine, brother. Right? That's fine. That's your deal. That's your problem. But certain men, and they're gonna take these women captive, man. And they're gonna have their wife already, man. You know, and they're gonna spoil the whole city. Right? Let's jump down. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse number 14. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. I mean, I can't imagine how much gold that's going to be, man. How much silver is that going to be? It's going to be divided amongst the 144,000. So every member of the 144K, they're going to get some of this gold and silver and apparel. What kind of apparel is that? What do they have? Because it's not talking about some Jordans, you know, some white man name brand apparel. This apparel has to be high level apparel and great abundance. Right? Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 39. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse number 10. So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, said the Lord. So we're going to rob the heathen. What does it mean to rob? What does it mean to rob someone? Right? To rob is to steal, especially by force, right? Or through threats of violence. A person who robs is called a robber. And the acting of robbing is robbery. Hey, we're going to rob these heathen, man. I don't want to rob them. I don't like that. I got a lot of brothers. I don't like that. My God wouldn't allow it. Get out of Christianity, man. Get out that effeminate spirit. I don't want to kill a heathen. I don't want to take the woman captive. I don't want to rob the heathen. Why do we have to rob them? Right? Because the Most High, the Most High says so. You know, the Most High says so. That's why we're going to do it, man. And if I'm part of that number, man, I'm looking good, man. We flipping over houses, mattresses. We opening cabinets. We breaking open safes. You know, we going to deep underground military bases. We snatching pearls off their grandma necklace, man. We snatching rings, chains, gold. If you got gold fronts, we taking your gold fronts, the tooth and the gold, punch you in the mouth. You got a damn gold right there, we plucking it out, man. Whatever we see, man, we taking it. Now, again, this is only for the men who overcome, who don't allow their tabernacle to get spoiled on this side. If you on this side getting your tabernacle spoiled, you won't be able to do the spoiling. This is the judgment of the two tabernacles. The judgment on our tabernacle and the judgment on the nations. Let me read this definition there. I mean, what a beautiful definition, right? It's so redundant, but it has to be, right? Right? To rob is to steal, especially by force or through threats of violence. A person who robs is called a robber, and the act of robbing is called robbery. A robber can rob a person or a place, such as a house or a business. The act of robbing a person on the street is called mugging. And we're gonna mug these heathen, man. Right? We're gonna mug these heathen. Let me see what else we got. So that somebody asks, what does it mean when someone is robbing you? I guarantee an Edomite asked that while he was getting robbed, right? This is an Edomite. They asked is while they were getting robbed. Put very simply, someone is guilty of robbery, and we're not going to be guilty of robbery. The Most High, we're going to be innocent, blameless in this matter. Put very simply, someone is guilty of robbery if he steals from a person using force or makes them think force will be used. Theft means taking someone's property but does not involve the use of force. So we're not going to be thieves because we are going to use force. So it's going to be robbery. Burglary means illegally, so we're not going to be burglars, right? Burglary means illegally entering a property in order to steal property from it, right? So again, hey, this is going down. This is going down, right? So let's go back to this. The Lord said, and rob those that rob them, said the Lord, right? So you should want to be a partaker of that. You should want to rob these heathen, right? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You should want to rob these heathen, man, right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse, I want to get straight to the point. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 16. Therefore, shall they, right there, the elect, receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. So the Most High has a temple, and we are the weapons inside of his tabernacle, his tent. He shall put on righteousness as a breastplate and true judgment instead of a helmet. He shall take holiness for an invincible shield. And we're going to be invincible. Let's pull up that definition. What does it mean to be invincible? Right? Too powerful to be defeated or overcome. We're going to be invincible, indestructible, unbeatable, right? Unconquerable. What else? Invulnerable. That's what we're going to be, man. Right? Unbending, unshakable, unbeatable. Let's go back to that. He shall take holiness for an invincible shield. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. Who's the world? The same world in John 3:16, the world of Israel. We're going to fight with him, meaning with the Most High and Yahushua, against the unwise. So the world isn't everybody. If the world was everybody, who's the unwise? Right? Who's the unwise? So we know that this world is what? The world of Israel. And they're going to fight with Yahushua against the unwise, meaning against the so-called white man, these elites. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to the mark. Because while we're taking these heathen down and robbing them, there's going to be chariots above our head shooting out lasers, right? And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast as out of a stone bow. And the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the floods shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them like a storm, and shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealings shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty. So they're going to be overthrown because of their sins. Because of their sins. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. Right? Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse number 37. Right? Jeremiah chapter 50 and 37. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as woman, a sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. Again, this is going into Babylon the Great and these nations, man, because they did all of the robbery, man. Right? They robbed lands, people's minds, spirits, souls. They rob, you want to make it in this industry, you got to sell your soul, you got to give up your integrity, right? Your vows, right? Your honor, your virtue. So it's only right. And the Lord said, he that doeth wrong shall receive the wrong that he had done, right? And there is what? There is no respect of persons, right? There is no respect of persons with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? So let's go to Matthew chapter 24. So again, either you're going to get your tabernacle spoiled and robbed by these demons in warfare, or you're going to overcome. And if you overcome, you're going to be able to do the robbing of these heathen, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse number 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So don't be the brother that's not watching. You're not watching over your spirit. You're not examining yourself. You're not pushing yourself to go harder. You're not challenging yourself to do more. You're not watching the prophecies. You're not watching the current events unfold. All you do is watch sports. You follow the rap industry, the hip hop world, niggerdom, hedonism, diverse vanities. You scroll all day, you're in folly, but you're not watching about what the Most High is doing on the earth. That's why you're going to suffer, and your tabernacle is going to get all broken up and spoiled, man. You're supposed to be the good man of the house and keep a sure watch over your tent, a sure watch over your house, a sure watch over your family, man. See what things are lacking, how we can increase. How can you increase your wife, your children, your brothers? Don't just sit around idly and let your house get all broken up, because things are moving fast, man. I mean, any given day, somebody could shoot a bomb. World War III could kick off. It could be a false flag. Jacob's trouble. Things are moving fast. They're passing laws and decrees where the American government can use lethal force on citizens. Things are moving fast. FEMA camps are set up. The guillotines are here. The prophecies unfolding every day. You blink once, you missing out. You have to watch so nobody goes in your booth and just spoils it, man. And you lose all your knowledge and all your wisdom and all of your goods and the treasures that the Most High has given you, man. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. So Yahweh Shah is coming like what? Like a thief in the night. Let's go to Revelation chapter 22 and 12. Right? Revelation chapter 22 and verse number 12. It reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So you're going to get what you put in. If you're slothful, you make excuses. You're a procrastinator, right? You're not diligent, right? If you're willfully just entertaining the old man, if you're not striving for the mastery, your reward is going to be pain, thirst, and destruction. Just don't abuse the grace of the Most High. Stop playing with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua like you're supposed to be in this truth, like you did great works to come into this truth. As quickly as you came into this thing, you can be quickly removed. We see it all the time. You don't want to be a used to brother. Brother used to be diligent. The brother used to be on fire. The brother used to be steadfast. Used to. He was. Don't be a used to and a was brother, right? You want to be, what are you doing now? Yeah, we know what you did yesterday. What are you doing today? Are you enduring? Are you fighting a good fight? Are you challenging yourself? Are you pushing yourself? Are you actually fighting? Or are you just getting knocked out, man? And getting robbed of sanity and virtue? You have to see the sins that are overthrowing you. And when is enough going to be enough for you, man? When are you finally going to overcome these certain hurdles, man? You know? When are you finally going to conquer these spirits that just make you go off? Now, we're in this flesh, and, we are going to go off. I'm saying that again. But that doesn't mean the will to do what's right shouldn't be there. Because Yahweh Shah is going to give unto every man according as his work shall be. And the Lord sees your works, man. What you do in the dark, what you do in the light, what's in your mind, right? What you meditate on. The Most High sees your sincerity, what spirit you in, what spirit you aren't in. He sees these things. You can hide from man, you cannot hide from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Right? Verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. I, Yahweh Shai, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. And the spirit and the bride say, come. And let him that heareth say, come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, it's got to be in you. Whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify to every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. He which testified these things saith, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Lord Yahweh Shah. The grace of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach be with you all. Amen. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Kwamalak Yahweh Shah. Most High willing, you were edified. Kwam Yasha. Shalom.